What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Instagram Live, and I am live here today in Houston, Texas, and I am here for a conference this weekend called Low Carb Houston, and you can go and check it out at lowcarbhouston.com. If you live in and around the Houston, Texas area, I will be here for the next few days for the Low Carb Houston event, and so we are here live today, and I had to come on with a Jimmy Rant episode all about traveling while keto, because a lot of people, they tend to freak out when they go on a ketogenic diet and go, oh no, I have to travel. What do I do? And so as someone who travels quite a bit, I thought, how about we do a Jimmy Rant episode all about traveling while keto? And that sounds like drinking while intoxicated, but no. Traveling while keto is certainly not that. Traveling while keto should be very, very easy. If you're just joining us, come on in, welcome in, and thanks for being here today. I am in Houston, Texas today, so I just got off of a plane that was about 2.5-hour flight, and then I had about a 45-minute commute in a taxi to get to the hotel. And of course, it's still early in the morning here in Houston, Texas, so I can't check into my hotel. So what better to do than an Instagram Live for you guys? So today's topic is an important one because people think, oh, well, if I'm going to have to travel, how do I eat? I can't have any of the snacks they serve. And they had a whole boatload of crappy carbon snacks available to us on that flight that I was on. I was sitting in first class, and so they brought this big basket full of Fig Newtons and chips and cookies and all kinds of things. And I keep wanting to ask, where's the food? Hello? But that's what passes for travel food now. So you can take one of two strategies. You can, number one, bring your own snacks. So there's a lot of great companies out there making really quality products, things like Peely Nuts, things like the Drop-In F-Bomb, things like just anything that would be handy that you could bring with you. Tons and tons and tons of companies that are making those kinds of things. Hard-boiled eggs, you could just pack those in your carry-on. There's any numbers of ways that if you feel like you're not going to make it in however long your flight is, then pack some of those things, and it's good to have them on hand so that you don't feel tempted to grab the cottonseed oil infested peanuts that they tend to serve, or the fake named honey peanuts that are just sugary swill drizzled all over really healthy food. It's horrible what they've done to our food. So that's one strategy. Bring your own snacks. So if you're having to travel and you're on a ketogenic diet and you're afraid you're going to get hungry between the time you leave your house and the time that you get to your destination and you're able to get food, then bring your own snacks. But here's the strategy that I employed today. I fasted. I didn't have any food at all. And I find that on shorter flights, fasting is incredibly easy to do. So a short flight to me is any of them that are defined as less than 4 hours. So mine today was 2.5 hours, pretty much the perfect length for an in-flight fast. So didn't eat any food at all. Really haven't had any food since last night. So I woke up this morning, didn't have any food before I left. I did the 2.5-hour flight, got through all the airport stuff, got to a taxi, and another like 45 minutes to an hour to get here. I'm here now, and I'm still fasting. And I think people undervalue the freedom that gives you when you are keto. So you think, okay, I'm traveling, I have to like move around, and it's stressful, and I want to get back to the stress here in a minute, but you got all of this stuff going on that you think, oh my gosh, how could you possibly stay on your diet or even dare talk about the other F word, fasting, when you're traveling? And I got to tell you, once you're keto adapted and once you've done this a while and once you've kind of ridden this bull a bit, it gets easier. So let's get to the stress aspect of it, because I've talked very openly about my challenges with stress and how it affects my body, and that when I travel, I tend to get hungrier. And I do. In fact, right now, I could probably feel a little bit of kind of a gnawing in my stomach, but I have learned to deal with that and not freak out about it and not make the stress worse. So if you're one of those travelers that tends to get very stressed, just be prepared and go ahead and bring some snacks a few times. But at some point, try to make the plunge and see if you can fast all the way there. Because it will keep you from compromising your values with your keto, with what you're trying to accomplish in your health. It'll keep your blood sugar stable. All good things happen when you do that. And then when you get to your destination, like I am now, when I'm finished talking to you guys, I'll assess whether I want to try to go find a place to eat, and again, the options. So when you're traveling, your options for food can sometimes be challenging. So I am next to this piece of water here. There's really no, I'm looking around, there's no like restaurants anywhere in sight. It's all water, pretty much all the way around this hotel. And so I don't have a lot of walking options to get to, say, a steakhouse and get a steak and some vegetables. There is an in-house restaurant here on the property that I'll probably check out and see if they have any good options. But again, as I've always said, if you're keto, the best way to stay keto is think of the very basics of what keto is. Protein, vegetables, fat. If you can find a protein source, the fattier the better. So a nice steak, a hamburger patty, anything but a chicken breast. I think you know by now, you know my philosophy by now about chicken breasts. That's not food. That's just not right, actually. So you just find the best quality that you can. Now, obviously, on the road when you're traveling, you're not going to have, as my friend Dr. Ken Berry, who is watching, would say, you're not going to have grass-fed, panda-massaged meats available to you. But again, you do the best you can. Then you try to have the non-starchy vegetables. Salad vegetables are really awesome. Just be careful of what they put on salads. If they throw croutons on there, or if they throw other sources of horrible carbohydrate, you probably could ask them to bring you some olive oil as a dressing. Most places now have olive oil. A lot of places now even have avocado. So I would ask specifically for sliced avocado. That's one of my favorite things to ask for now. And because avocados are kind of in now in the culture, more and more restaurants are starting to carry those. So look for those things that you can have in the form of carbohydrate. And then fat. So this is where it can get most challenging, because a lot of restaurants are still behind the times, realizing people want to have real whole foods, want to have real food sources of fat. And typically that means butter. And so if you can't find butter, see if they have anything else that you can add fat. Most places these days do have at least butter. Sometimes they'll say, well, I have to go to the kitchen and get you some, because they don't have it in the little prepackaged stuff. And especially the breakfast items that a lot of these hotels that I've stayed in, it's a poor excuse for a breakfast. And they have margarine galore, and they have crappy garbage galore. If you find, I know a lot of the Hampton Inns that I've stayed in, this is a Hilton I'm staying in here, but a lot of the Hampton Inns that I've stayed in, they tend to have eggs, which they have both the hard-boiled eggs, but also be careful of like the scrambled eggs that they sell and have for you on those buffet type of deals at Hampton Inn, for example. They're powdered eggs and questionable ingredients, let's put it that way. And then sausage or bacon or ham or any number of other kinds of meats that are on these. So the choices abound. And if you're traveling while trying to be on the ketogenic diet, it's not the end of the world. You do the best you can. And then when you get back home, eat all the grass-fed, panda-massaged meats that you want, have all the organic vegetables that you want, be good when you get home, because you don't travel forever. I'm here today, and then I get home late Sunday afternoon. So here a good 4 days, and I will have to make as quality a choices as I can. Now, thankfully, I'm at a conference, and at the conference, it's a keto low-carb conference. They're going to have a couple of dinners available to us where there will be really good quality, real whole foods, locally sourced. I'm actually going to be on a panel talking about my backyard chickens and talking about eating real food and growing my own vegetables and things like that. So I'm real excited that Allie Miller asked me to be a part of that. But the bottom line here, guys, don't freak out about it. Don't worry about it. I think sometimes we worry ourselves to death over things that really aren't worth worrying about. Traveling is a necessity of life for a lot of us. Some of us have to travel a lot more than others. But when you do travel, it does not mean you have to compromise your values in your diet. So let's see what you guys have to say. Welcome in, welcome in. Metabolic Mike's in the house. What's up? What's up? Partay, he says. Beef sticks and cheese sticks are portable and keto. Ashton, you are so right. Those are perfect examples. And Christine and I love the beef sticks. They're grass-fed beef sticks from Paleo Valley. I know there's this company called Nick Sticks. There's literally so many of those kinds of companies. Don't settle for Slim Jim. Don't settle for some of the ones that load up their product with really bad ingredients. Find those good quality companies like Paleo Valley, like Nick Sticks, that are doing things the right way. And then cheese sticks. Yeah, you can buy cheese sticks literally anywhere. So great suggestions. If you're just joining us, we are talking about how you can travel and still stay keto. Keto for Life says, good timing. I just reviewed your new book on my Instagram. Thank you for that. Yeah, the new book, Real Food Keto, which I was able to pack about 15 copies with me to bring to Houston. It was so funny. Because I was in first class, they gave me up to 70 pounds in my luggage, and it came in at 69 pounds. So I was like, yes. So 15 people will be very happy they get a copy of my book. All righty. Anything eggs with cheese. Yes, Amy, that is a great strategy, and very easy, very portable, and very nutritious, keeping the protein adequate, the fat high, the carbs low, should keep your hunger satiated if you can't fast. Alicia Ultima, do you pack travel snacks? So this trip I did not. This trip I have become more and more convinced on any flights less than 4 hours that I probably don't need to have snacks. That's not to say that when they were offered, there's not this like slight little inkling of, oh, I guess I should be eating, and then it just quickly goes away. No, I'm not hungry. I don't need that. And I think that's the point where we want to get to, where we get out of this culture of you have to be fed every moment of every time, all the time that you're kind of in the flight thing. And it always trips me out when I read those stories about the people that are stuck on a tarmac inside of a plane. And of course, they're in a holding pattern. And if it goes like an hour, they tend to freak out because, oh my gosh, I'm hungry. What do I do? How do I, blah, blah, blah. And it's just, they freak out about that kind of stuff. And it's just amazing to me that you're freaking out and you really haven't had any food in like an hour or two. It's not a big deal. I guess it is a big deal if you're a sugar burner and you're always stoking that flame of hunger. But for someone who's keto adapted, those feelings of hangriness that just overtake you, that go away. You don't really need that anymore. So I don't pack travel snacks with me for a trip this short. Now, if I'm going East Coast, West Coast, you bet I am going to bring some snacks with me. So if I take a trip, I live in South Carolina. If I'm going to San Francisco, for example, then it's usually a connecting flight somewhere in Texas, and then connects you to go to your final destination. Well, if I do a trip like that, I will bring some peely nuts with me. I will bring some F-bombs with me, the Drop-In F-bomb company. Sometimes I've brought some of the Nui cookies with me. and of course the Paleo Valley meat sticks that I talked about earlier. And if I have all of that on hand, then I can make it until we get to a meal once we've landed and once we've got settled in our final destination. But a lot of people, they don't wrap their heads around it because we're kind of conditioned by our culture to constantly be eating. You walk through an airport, that's what you see. Every corner, and especially if you go to a big airport. I just walked through George Washington Airport, or George Washington, shows you where my brain is, George Bush Airport, and there was just like restaurant after restaurant after restaurant selling all kinds of crap. So it's a little bit challenging when you're trying to fast and you walk through an airport and you're past all these foods pretty much constantly. But they're just basically serving what people want because all of those people have been conditioned that they need to eat, and when they're not eating, they should be thinking about eating their next meal. And keto has freed me and so many of you guys from this feeling that you have to constantly be thinking about food. Quite honestly, I think so much less about food now that I'm keto adapted than I ever did in my crappy garbage days. Than I ever did even when I was eating so-called healthy, when I was eating low fat. I don't think about food that much until it's meal time. And then I'm like, okay, I could eat. And it's not this kind of nervousness of I must eat immediately lest I die, lest I bite somebody's head off. I'm not there anymore. I don't have those concerns anymore. And you really can't put a price tag on that. I think that's invaluable, and it's a great lesson and a great encouragement for a lot of you newbies into keto that you're going to get there. You're going to have that ability to go many hours between meals, and it's not a big deal when you travel, even while you're eating keto. Thanks for joining us, guys. Aloha from Hawaii, Patty says. Traveled here from Spartanburg. Wow, Patty. You are on a long trip, and I definitely, if I was going to Hawaii, which we were going to go on a cruise to Hawaii in December, but we had to cancel it because of Christine's shoulder surgery and the recovery from that. So you had a long flight to get to Hawaii, so I know you had some snacks ready to go, and that's the way to do it on those super long. I've been to Australia 3 times, been to South Africa, I've been to the UK and Scotland and Ireland. Next year, we're going to be joining Maria Emmerich on her Italy trip. I'm going to be sharing more about this real soon, but on that flight that we take to Italy, we will also be bringing ample snacks. And then the food, if they happen to serve you any food on a plane, you know, you kind of pick around what you can eat, but for the most part, you could just say no thank you and freak them out. It's pretty funny, actually. You can freak out flight attendant. Wait a minute, you haven't eaten. What's the matter? They start to wonder what's wrong with you if you decide not to eat. And you can say, you know what, I'm completely satisfied. I'm completely hunger free, but thank you. And it would be very weird. So, all right. So traveling while keto, bottom line here on this Jimmy Rants episode. Traveling while keto is not impossible, and I would even say if you prepare right, you can have the snacks available to you to munch on, and I would highly encourage, if you're not used to traveling and you're just kind of new to keto, this is probably a good idea to start. And then once you're a veteran of being keto, try, like I did today, to go on a flight that's a little over a couple hours long and get to your final destination and see how you do in a fasted state. So I didn't have to think about food a bit. I had a couple of glasses of water, and I did pretty darn well. Patty says I just drank a lot of sparkling water on the flight with lime on the trip to Hawaii. So see, there you go. There's proof positive of somebody that has done this and done it well. Now, I will give the caveat here, since we are talking in generality about traveling. When I'm in the car driving somewhere and it's like a long drive somewhere, I'm bringing snacks. So I very rarely can go a 8 to 10 hour drive, and the stress that goes along with being in traffic like that, without having at least something to eat. So I'll generally eat before we leave on a trip like that, try to go as long as I can without having to snack, and then I'll grab peely nuts, Paleo Valley meat sticks, F-bombs, that kind of thing. So I hope this helped you out. If you travel and you're wondering, how do I do that when I'm keto? Traveling while keto is doable. And I'm really happy we were able to share some good information with you guys today. Enjoy Health says is good to know yourself and responses to stress. Some people get anxious during travel. It triggers cravings. Be prepared for that with plenty of liquids and some snacks that will help. Perfect advice. And thank you for reminding me about the drinking ample amounts of water, for example. That is a huge way to kind of calm your body down. When you think you're hungry, you might actually just be thirsty. And especially if you're flying, drink. You want to make sure that you stay hydrated. So thank you for that reminder. And that's a great way to end this Jimmy Rants episode. So thanks for watching. And as always, go to jimmyrants.com. It takes you to our brand new YouTube channel where we have all of these videos posted there for you to watch. And coming very soon, we're going to have the Jimmy Rants podcast, which will be snippets from these Instagram lives that I'm doing from the Jimmy Rants. So you don't want to miss that. It's coming. A daily podcast is coming very, very soon. MP Laughlin says, I love keto since I don't worry about having to have food immediately. When you fast, you don't worry so much. Thanks again. I love all these live videos. I agree. My triggers are better on keto. Yep, they get very much better. Low carb keto for life. Enjoying the rants. Thank you. Thank you, guys. I am going to pop off of here now so I can see when my room might be ready. But thanks for watching, and we'll be back again real soon with another Jimmy Rants. Bye.